Welcome to Multi-Net Design. In this tutorial that we are working on a semi-detached duplex that we are working so far. From our previous, we are able to do all these things. So if you are not subscribed to our channel before, you can kindly do that. So for the previous one I explained how you can annotate all this one and do a lot of work, but here I'm going to want to explain rendering. But before then, let me quickly give you a clue if you don't know how to do a proper dimension. So there's an option from here, because a lot of people think Revit is all about just modeling, so you can do complete working drawing here. So the detail aspect of this work can be communicated to your client after you have done the modeling and everything finished. So that's just the way you will do dimension. If you want to do quick one, you should just set the entire one, then option for you so that you choose what you want to do. So choose opening if you want and say width, and if you want interactive for the wall and every other thing, you can quickly select that. So you just click here. By the time you select all the walls, see, you pick everything for you at once. So manipulation of all these things is available. So if you hear you're having an issue with this one too, you can just drag this one, and if you want it to be more smaller, you click on the editing the way we used to do, just duplicate, or you may not duplicate, just come here, the size, and then you reduce it to something like 1, and you say apply. So you see it's going to be reduced, but when you take it to sheets, then you're going to find everything the way it's supposed to be. So you'll be able to adjust whatsoever you want to adjust and give it the confidence that is needed. So my in this into a particular one, I want to explain how you can get your drawing on the perspective level. So what am I saying is that you can render. Look at have a test rendering one here, which is this one, but I want to use Vray to explain what I want to do in this particular tutorial. So if you have idea of Vray, this is an helpful aspect for you. So let us go there and do the needful. The first thing you need to do is to know how to set your camera. That is one thing about rendering. No matter how rendering engine you might learn, if you don't have eyes for good camera, it will not be easy and decent. So how do you set your camera? I've explained that before, that when you pick on the camera from any camera dialog you have, just what you need is to set it up by clicking anywhere and then click through the place you want it to capture. So the moment you capture this area, what you need to focus your attention is your camera position, and that is come from the property side here. The camera position, that is height elevation. So you must capture this in such a way that it will reveal. If you want to capture a bed view, you go above the roof to capture that. But if you want to capture a view that is entertaining to everybody, you capture it below your eye level. So you go back here and reduce this one. Let me just reduce it to like 1000. If you reduce this only eyes elevation to 1000, leave it like that, there's going to be a little distort from your line here, which is not good for rendering. If you render this one, it's going to have a little bit blurring effect on your rendering matter. So with that, it's not going to capture the moment accurately. So you make sure that every line, every figures here are unique, so and the same. So you put this one back to 1000 as well, and it's be okay. So when you look at it now, you see those lines are now parallel. There's no wretched line, there's no rectangle line among them anymore. So that is how you do it. Now the next thing I want to do is that now every material I've used here, they are all from Revit. I didn't do anything from anywhere. So I want to go to Vray now. I have Vray already set up. So if you don't have to, just click on the setting, or you see the power on button here, you click it on and you update itself. Now what are those things that I need to explain here? You can quickly bring it to realistic so that you'll be able to design your material that you have, so whether you like them or not. So Vray has their own way of material too. If you have a Vray completely installed, so there will be something called Child Cosmos, which is this particular software. It's always come along with the Vray. So the reason why all this one have been downloaded, I can drag anyone into this space and use, but I'm not going to do anything here. So if you want to watch most of this thing, I've done some tutorial, just make comments. I will link you to some of those tutorial I've done there on this channel that I've explained this one. Now what I want to do here is that your explanation based on the fact that you can render this one in a beautiful way, and everything will be going to be what good for you. Now I have renderer one, which is this particular one. So how do I do that? The only thing I did here is my perspective camera, which I have already chosen. If you are rendering in Vray, most of these things you need to take note of them, like Vray, this quality. So if you have +1, the more you select, the higher it becomes for you. So when you click on plus, it's going to give you more details. Resolution based on the camera setting you have. If you want it to be in HD, then you select the aspect of HD ratio. But since you want it to be according to the camera you choose, that is the best, because if you choose an HD, it's going to distort this one. You are not going to get it. So when you want to do post-production, is when the beauty comes out from it. Now whenever you have done this one, then you need to set all this lighting artificial, because Vray believe in all those things. You can imagine all these small light effects. Those are the things that you have that you need. Now if you want to change your material, maybe you don't like the material you have from something, you can come to the asset editor. From asset editor, most of people used to see this and confuse that how did they do it. So you need to do what? Click on this to expand, and click on this one to expand. So you have everything here. Concrete painting and all those things are here for you to make use of. So that is how Vray works. So all this one will help you to develop and do the proper rendering. That's just what I want to explain. So I've done this one. That is the way to do it. So after you have done this is where you select your camera. Now look at it now. This is the new camera we have just used, the camera that I used to render this particular one. So you select your camera so that you have a target of what you are doing, because Vray is an external software. It's not like Revit that okay, you click and you tell you that you should render that place, it will render for you. So it will help you to organize your camera accurately and then give you whatsoever. Though whenever you set the camera, it does not affect all the settings you have done. Let me just test this one now for you to see. So look at this now. All the settings are here. They are not leaving. If I render them now, it's going to be. So if you have issue now, again, if you have another issue that maybe when you are doing, you see that your drawing are dark, this is the exposure that causes issue. The perfect exposure is the 14.0. So you can click an option and see more exposure that you have here. So if you have all these things like this automatic, and if you have issue that is not giving you effects, always come to the exposure. You can use automatic exposure. So this one will give you accurately according to the environment, because like intelligence, is a little bit of AI that have been installed on it. So to capture the lighting effect according to the sun or the day that you have already set, or maybe it is using in the Revit something. But if you want to do that in a different way, so for a beginner who want to use Vray, I always advise them to always stick to the settings like this, auto setting, exposure. Those are the things, side by side and everything. Don't bother yourself about this panorama or something like that. Just test your exposure and do your rendering the way it's supposed to be. So the rendering in Vray is might be faster, depends on the graphics of your system, but I'm not going to do any rendering here. I've already done this one. This one took me like 5 minutes. So imagine I have 5 minutes to this kind of tutorial. It's going to take a lot of time and look boring. So I will not do any rendering here again. I've explained everything. So just test it on your own if you have installed Vray, and that will boost your idea of how the Vray system works. So I've done this one now, and so any other thing that anybody is having challenges, you can contact me and let me know if you have any challenges or concerning this one. So thanks for watching.